the elder statesman here will go all old school.
That includes playing classic Super Mario Brothers.
Hey, what's up, Leslie? Seems like we got a fix, and we are off. Not a second too soon, Leslie Pro 04. You made it in right in time. In our first chest, we have 20 roops.
At the classic opening, open the first chest, get a big 20.
Hey, there's 28 of them in the item pool. You gotta, well, there used to be. They've changed the numbers up a little bit. Sorry, I told you I was old school.
Yep, as I remember from the first tournament.
And we are Uncle Assured Sword, and there it is. Fisher Price, Baby's First Sword. Both of our runners got it.
Yep, in another variation, you could possibly see a random weapon there. Not today.
And we get Swirly Coin downtown, so that's one less item that our runners need to be worried about. The medallions, because they're only required to enter certain dungeons if the randomizer dictates so. They can have the possibility to be extraordinarily difficult to find because they are not gated by anything.
Well, bombos can certainly be useful in clearing out some really annoying rooms, and hey, the logic could dictate a bombos required ice palace. Ooh, there's our bomb drop for Keong.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the old school standard mode, and a bomb drop is incredibly important, saves a significant amount of time if you can get bomb open the entry to the back part of Escape, which contains 3 chests. If you do not get a bomb, you're probably going to have to wait until you find the gloves earlier, because no one's going to walk all the way back through Escape. There's an 8 bomb drop for SuperNinTaylor and Kyong92, so we are all set for bombs.
We're not just all set for bombs here, we're all set for Kakariko as well.
Indeed, that treasure trove of items, Kakariko Village, can almost guarantee the runners will go straight there after rescuing Zelda and dropping her off in the sanctuary.
On a rare occasion, a runner won't do that. I know I was at the losing end of an open race where someone went South Shore first, and that wound up being the play that paid off. Probably won't see that, though. Just too many items.
Right. And it is also relatively dependent on what items are found here in the Escape as well. And you see NinTaylor just going with the 8 swipes with the plastic sword, taking out the ball and chain guard. Kyong did 1 pot and then sword swipes. It's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other, but some real skill there in avoiding that ball and chain while it's being swung over the guard's head.
That thing is painful, and if you want an idea of how painful a ball and chain can be, 2 words: Twilight Princess.
So this is one of the first times I've seen someone running with the Rainbow Link sprite. Looking forward to seeing what happens when they pick up the mail upgrades, the red and blue mail.
I'm kind of curious to see what'll happen if the bunny bean hits.
Probably just be a rainbow-suited bunny, would be my guess. But we've seen some crazy stuff in these dozens upon dozens of sprites that are available for use if you decide to play the Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past randomizer. I'm proud of assisting in the creation of the Ryu sprite, and by assisting I mean, just picking the outfits and the bunny beam and all that. The real work was not done by me.
Yeah, it's safe to say art is my forte, but I can appreciate a job well done with art when I see it, and our artists have done a fantastic job with all of the custom sprites.
Absolutely. And since both of our runners have so many bombs, we will not see any of them farming enemies. Many times, if you don't find the bombs as early as they did, oh my gosh, the lamp! Well, we will not be seeing anyone traverse rooms in the dark in this seed. Of course, that lamp could be foreboding, couldn't it, Leslie?
Very foreboding. It could be hinting towards a required Aga 1 play for any number of reasons. Lumberjack Cave, Dark World access, and Whole in part. Or, if you want a real oddity, if the hammer is at the Pyramid Fairy, you have to fight Aga 1 just to get it.
All right, let us see what is in the back portion of Escape. 3 chests here. We've got a burrito, a shovel. I hear you like some fetch quests.
Also had a heart container in there. And it looks like Taylor farming for money, maybe?
Possibly. Certainly has sufficient bombs to do both Kakariko and South Shore. But you can never have too many bombs. As the old man in Zelda 1 said, I bet you'd like to have more bombs.
Ooh, a moon pearl.
At this point, it's relatively indifferent. Our runners don't have any way to access the Dark World at this moment. However, that will be a load off of their minds. We got a map check. We have a green pendant at Eastern Palace, a crystal at Desert, and a red crystal at Tower of Hera. Great information for our runners to have this early in the game.
Absolutely, because green pendant, well, you don't have to talk to Sahasura to get that bit of information if it winds up to be in the light world. But you also know you're going to have 5 crystals in the dark world. But we'll see how that all plays out.
So SuperNinTaylor looks like he is opting to check the Lumberjacks. Meanwhile, Kyong just saying, nope, that's a waste of time. I can always come back later with the boots if I need to. It is just a heart container, so there is no early indication of whether or not Agahnim will be required, and fairies from the tree pole.
Now all I need is a bug catching net and some empty bottles, and I am all set.
Indeed. So Kyong now is going to be heading down into Kakariko Village, that treasure trove I was speaking of earlier. Let us see what items are going to be available there today. And the first, as usual, is Blind's Hut. 5 items here. We've got Blue Mail, a single greener, the Cane of Burna, and a little bit of love.
That's not the cane we're looking for, but that can make Spike Cave easier and a good safety against blind.
Yeah, the Cane of Brian, very useful, particularly in places like Turtle Rock, Spike Cave, and can be extremely useful against blind. But these runners are of such a caliber now that neither of them are going to remotely need to use cane strats on blind.
Yeah, that might be a last-ditch emergency on that.
So far, the well not yielding terribly much at this point. Not at all. Kyong does have enough money for Bottle Merchant, so that will not be an issue. Let's see what he has for sale today.
And Taylor already had that covered.
This is typical of a standard seed, right into Kakariko Village, usually. And there's the hammer!
That eliminates the odd Aga 1 play, but if we don't find a lift upgrade, it is for naught because we will still have to climb Castle Tower.
Speaking of the glove...
We'll call that a commentator's blessing.
Absolutely. So we already have Dark World access It would be interesting if one of our runners decided to go straight to Thieves Town at this point.
And there's a Beetorp sitting on the library bookshelf. That'd be a rude place to leave a bee.
And triple booms at the race game, so Kyong did save a couple of seconds there by not YOLOing the race game. And now it is shovel time. What is buried in the Sacred Grove?
Imagine if it were the mirror. That'd be crazy.
Ooh. We could get a vanilla flute, although I doubt that will happen. And just a little bit of love. Kyong actually eschewing that little bit of love this early in the game. I'm not about to second guess a runner of his caliber, but I'd have taken it.
Yeah, early game's usually a good heart piece pickup time.
So Kyong is going to go into the Dark World here. Likely a Hype Cave check before doing South Shore. We have pendants at both Skull Woods and Thieves Town. I did not see where the second red crystal was, however.
I did, and it was at Ice Palace.
Oh, no one likes having to do Ice Palace. Well, I mean, you have to do it, but still. And the bow at Hype Cave! What a play by Kyong92!
Now you are now able to full clear Eastern and Pod.
But Kyong opts to reset rather than go straight into Palace of Darkness. Interesting choice. We obviously know Kyong could handle it at this point in the game, but perhaps Kyong would rather have the mirror, because without the mirror and or the boots, Pod is a bit of a slog.
It is. He did do a save and quit, though. SuperNinTaylor going right for South Shore.
And not much in way of stuff at the dam. But let us see what is in the mini Moldorm cave.
Now, this being a 5-item check, I'm curious to see what will be here, but I'm also wondering how long it'll be for SuperNinTaylor to go into Hype Cave.
Yeah, absolutely. The Kyong92 showing how they're paying attention to the seed here by that quick dip into Hype Cave. Very fortuitous. Worked out well. There's the Ether Medallion, plus some love, and a lot of money. Right, so NinTaylor looks like they are going to check Ice Rod Cave, and then I would be surprised if NinTaylor did not do a fake flipper into Hobo and Zora area check. But definitely right now it appears that Kyong has a significant advantage because of that bow. We'll be able to clear out, as you said earlier, Leslie, both Pod and Eastern Palace.
Now, Eastern's still a good play because it's green pendant, plus the Hassler's right there, plus the portal's right there for going into Pod. So even if you don't have Mirror, you can still knock both out in fairly short order, Mirror being the optimal way of going about it.
Indeed. It looks like NinTaylor is going to check out the Hype Cave, pick up their bow as well. Meanwhile, Kyong attempting to fake flipper, doesn't get it on the first attempt, but does on the second. let us see what the hobo is holding on to today.
Just bombs on the island.
And Kyong wakes up the hobo. He says, "If I give you 20 bucks, will you go away?"
Well, Kyong almost took an arrow to the face before getting under there. If that had happened, that would have been a death.
Yeah, definitely fortuitous for Kyong there. Yeah, the game really doesn't know what to do with you. It can put you in a glitch state, but the randomizer developers have actually just coded it to be a death because the only solution would be to save and quit most of the time. So NinTaylor going to go over to Alec Baldwin's digging game. And the half magic. Always a great item to find.
Absolutely, especially knowing that you're going to be going into Turtle Rock, you're going to have to fight Trinexx. That is a magic-intense fight, and the extra magic will definitely help. And then Taylor pulls up a piece of heart at the digging game.
Quite vanilla, and another piece of heart at Zora, and Kyong eschews that one as well.
Well, I'm not going to question it, but that's 500 rupees down the drain.
It's kind of par for the course. It's the price we pay for trying to find all of our items. Meanwhile, SuperNinTaylor heading over to Eastern Palace and its tantalizing green pendant this early in the game.
Also, I don't think we've seen what Sahasrara has.
I think we're about to find out. I think SuperNinTaylor is about to break into his closet. We got the flips, the water toes.
So now we're basically one item away from being able to enter Ice Palace. And while we could complete it, it might not necessarily be in logic. But then again, Fighter Sword Cold Stare, not a fun fight.
Not remotely. Titan's mitts are on the pyramid.
Well, speaking of...
Wow. That opens up so much for Kyong92 right now.
And just one item away from having access to all of Turtle Rock's... all of Death Mountain, save for Turtle Rock.
Yeah. Both of our runners now converging on Palace of Darkness. Got to believe at this moment SuperNinTaylor is at a significant disadvantage due to not having those Titan's mitts. We'll see if they decide to check Pyramid after completing Palace of Darkness. But anything can happen in Rando, however, and we are still a long, long way from done.
That is right, because Zelda 3 Randomizer, the beauty of it is it ain't over until you see it done.
And as I mentioned earlier, Palace of Darkness without a mirror or the boots is and can be a slow slog. And the dungeon was not bow locked, so you could have progressed somewhat in here without the bow, but both of our runners do have the bow, so that's kind of a moot point.
Interesting to see how our runners route this dungeon without the mirror, without the boots. You can almost expect a Death Warp in the Kadongo room, but that's pretty much it. Unless the mire's here, in which case death warps are out.
If not needed, if we find the mirror. Both of our runners routing this dungeon almost exactly identically. And there's the flute.
For Kyong, that opens up Mire's shed. For NinTaylor, that makes getting up around the overworld easier, but once he gets the Titan's Mitts, he'll be able to make the same play.
Both of our runners can get up to Death Mountain. Here's a hint. Some cash requires the boots. Not terribly helpful.
Yeah, that seems like it could be Bonk Rocks, it could be Ganon's Tower Torch, or rather Bob's Torch, and yeah, not the most exciting of hints that are out there.
Not at all. NinTaylor needs to... There he goes. Okay, picking up those extra arrows. We're just about out, down to one arrow, and there are more Garayas / mimics, whatever you want to call them, in this dungeon that may require their attention later.
You're certainly going to need arrows here, no doubt about that, but he was also down to one bomb, got an 8-pack, so that was very timely.
And picking up even more arrows from underneath the skulls there. Great awareness by SuperNinTaylor of where the additional ammunition is. Oh, nicely done there by NinTaylor. Kyong having a little bit of trouble with the beetles.
Now the beetles you can stun with the bomb if you have to. And is
nice hammer yump into the fire rod there for SuperNinTaylor.
Nicely done. That is an item that can potentially troll and leave our runners, well, seeing red, no pun intended. But that was well done.
Yeah, very nice hammer yump there. And the fire rod can indeed troll, but it cannot troll nearly as well as the ice rod. There's Quack over on the other side for Kyong92, the Quake Medallion. And so far, Palace of Darkness has had a lot of good stuff.
They call the Hype Cave the Hype Cave. Well, sometimes Palace of Darkness is the loaded dungeon.
Absolutely. Palace of Hype. Palace of Progression, whatever you want to call it.
And the other thing is, our runners, as soon as they can go into Turtle Rock or Misery Mire as soon as they get the required progression.
Absolutely no need to worry anymore about what those medallions are. We got them all. Whatever it is, we got it taken care of. And NinTaylor again showing that they know exactly what's under all of these skulls. Getting some health refills there. And it is on to the Helmasaur King, who I believe has an item. I believe our runners have found both the map and the compass, but that could be my old man memory failing me.
That certainly is possible. If they found all the items, then you're not going to see much, as Kyong is doing the pod death warp.
Our tracker Iceman is correcting me here. Compass will be on Helmasaur. That's what we have the trackers around for keeping us commentators honest. Thank you, Iceman.
Always pays to have extra sets of eyes.
So this has been a very exciting start considering the items we have found so far, again, what's going to be key, although SuperNinTaylor will certainly be done with Palace of Darkness before their opponent, we don't know if Nintaylor is going to head over to that pyramid and get those all-important Titan's mitts.
If he does, then that'll certainly, well, it'll help. We'll put it that way.
We got 17 smacks on the mask with the hammer. It'll be interesting to see what method SuperNinTaylor chooses to attack the green jewel with, whether they use arrows or some other attack means. Using the hammer. Should be about 4 smacks with the hammer. Not the easiest thing in the world, as you see. Taylor's got to be careful here. All right, it is done. And our tracker proven to be absolutely correct. There's the compass. And that is 1 crystal down for SuperNinTaylor.
Question is, will Keon use the same strat, or will he switch to the bow?
We will find out. It looks like SuperNinTaylor may, in fact, be heading over to the pyramid. He is walking out of Palace of Darkness. If they weren't heading to the pyramid, I would assume they would have saved and quit. So looks like we will be back into a very close game between these two runners. Now, I wonder if Nintaylor will check the bottom-feeding catfish.
One question is, will catfish have nothing, or will catfish actually have something this time? As Keon does a save and quit.
Let's see where Kyong decides to go. Probably activate the flute, but not much of Death Mountain is open at the moment. So let's see where Kyong decides to run off to after activating the Goose Express. And SuperNinTaylor opts not to check the catfish. Let's see where they decide to run off to now. Looks like Eastern.
Interesting that he's not activating the flute here, because that would make moving around so much easier.
Oh no, SuperNinTaylor's checking, gonna check Hobo and Zora. I forgot that they'd not checked that yet, so we're still in a position where Kyong has a measurable advantage over the opponent right now. So Kyong going to go rescue the old man. I've been waiting. No, sorry.
Well, I think all of Death Mountain has been waiting. Problem is, Keon's only going to be able to get a handful of locations up here between the Old Man, Spectacle Rock Cave, and Spike Cave. That's it. He'd have to hit the hammer, or the mirror, or the hookshot on one of those locations in order to progress on the mountain.
Looks like SuperNinTaylor is going to head over and activate the flute as well. Let's see, as you mentioned, there's only a couple locations Kyong can check here. Let's see if it turns out to be something. Doesn't even check the top of the rock, just walks right down unless I missed it.
Didn't look like we saw it.
And it's just a shield. Don't think Kyong will get that, no, unless they have in order to check the hint. The Misery Mire Big Key and a map is fire-locked in Misery Mire, so they will be going full Misery Mire because they'll have to just to get that big key. Kyong's setting up the bomb jump here, having a little bit of trouble, but gets it.
That's not an easy bomb jump to pull off. That's a 2-pixel window, and if you miss it, you're falling down the pit.
And now Kyong going to utilize the Cane of Burna to pick up whatever item is sitting here in Spike Cave.
Now, Cane of Burna does put this play in logic.
And Kyong waits until the absolute last second, just a half a heart remaining, but it's easier to do with the cane than the cape. And we have Das Boot.
Oh! I wonder if those boots have any holes in them from being in Spike Cave, but either way, that's a tremendous pickup.
They don't have holes in them. They got spikes on the bottom. They're cleats today.
Football cleats. And it's just 10 arrows on Spectacle Rock Ledge, so Kyong not missing out on a whole heck of a lot.
But Kyong checking the King's Tomb. We have a little bit of love.
Now, some runners would like to hold out on checking King's Tomb if they don't have the mirror, just to get all of that in one shot. Sometimes you don't have that luxury, and this could be one of those times.
Yeah, we'll see. We did get the hint earlier that some cash requires the boots, so let's see if this is what the hint was referring to. It was. Possibly. And now Kyong is going to check Lumberjack and be quite disappointed.
Or he'll be quite pleased that he missed it the first time around, and, well, either way, he's covered. So now the real question is, where are the swords at?
Well, we only need one more, so... But now it is time to check the Mire Shack. It is Bombos for Mire, not that that terribly matters at this point.
Now, what Kyong did there was jump in the water, get some iframes to get past the Sparkies. Nice.
And SuperNinTaylor about to get their life lesson from King Zora. Oh, the cabbage is interfering with the Swag Duck Express there.
Oh, that's just rude. You hate to see that happen.
So Kyong gonna grab this bottle that's sitting here on the library. Almost certainly turn that into Sick Kid. See if that is something important. It very likely could be.
It's a possibility, and is SuperNinTaylor going for Ice Palace?
That is a bold move this early in the game.
Well, fortune could favor the bold because he has everything he needs to enter, as well as possibly clear if he utilizes a bomb jump, which I imagine he would.
Yeah, SuperNinTaylor's bomb jumps are going to need to be on point to be able to get through Ice Palace, but I'm quite confident in their ability to do so. Got to think now Kyong's probably headed to Skullwoods.
Not a bad play with the fire rod, because you can access all of it as well as clear it, although if I were doing a blind head pull and I had a mirror, that would be the last dungeon. And here SuperNinTaylor's demonstrating what happens when you use Quake in a room full of pendators.
I meant to say Village of Outcasts, not Skullwoods. I forgot that Skullwoods was a pendant. So it may delay Kyong's quest in there, but we'll dive Pendant Thieves Town. Not a terrible choice at all.
Yep, because at most you can get 3 items early plus the big key. Maybe, well, big key right off the bat, and it's never a bad thing.
And thank you, Ice Palace, for telling us that the boots are in Spike Cave. Actually, that helps SuperNinTaylor, but would be completely worthless to Kyong and for us and our viewers.
Well, hits like that can certainly turn around where a runner goes for the right way or the wrong way.
All right, now it's time. So SuperNinTaylor completed probably the most famous bomb jump in the game, the Ice Palace bomb jump. But we'll have to conduct a couple other bomb jumps to be able to clear this dungeon at this time.
Alternatively, the next chest he opens could have a small key and he could just go right upstairs and get 3 chests that way.
And perfect dash through Hellway there. The God Pixel.
That is a beautiful thing to see.
It's this other hint in Ice Palace. Some cash and a piece of heart requires a big red bomb. Well, that tells us that we will not be seeing Pyramid Fairy today.
Unless Kyong doesn't see that hit and heads that way, it's possible.
Sure. All right, this is a difficult bomb jump here that SuperNinTaylor is going to attempt. And gets it first try. Impressive.
Absolutely, they call that the reverse Ice Palace bomb jump. Another tight window bomb jump. But when pulled off, it allows you to get over to this side of the dungeon without the hook shot.
And SuperNinTaylor does have both the half magic and bombos, making the possibility of running out of magic on Cold Stare very remote. So both of our runners on completely different paths right now. So far, Thieves Town has not paid off for Kyong. No progression items have been found in here yet. However, there's always the possibility of a pedestal seed.
Yep, pet is never dead until you pick go mode. Or you get the Book of Medora.
Exactly. So let's see how well Kyong takes out Blind here. This is a relatively scripted fight. You can conduct it the exact same way every time with perfect execution. And we'll see if Kyong gets it perfectly. And then Taylor tried another bomb jump in Ice Palace. It did not work out.
And unfortunately, that big chest is one he will not be able to open because he had to be on... Well, you need the hookshot to get there from that side.
Right.
Clip, otherwise you gotta bomb your way down.
All right, so SuperNinTaylor going to make their way over to the iced tea room here in Ice Palace. Meanwhile, Kyong, we don't know yet whether Thieves Town was a complete bust or not. We will see if there is something on the pedestal.
Well, jury's out on that. As for the iced tea room, we'll see how to set a heart container.
It is so satisfying hitting those pegs with hammer dashes.
Yep, and when you end, you actually don't hit the chickens with it, so PETA's not going to say anything.
All right, we have the mushroom, and if anybody played the first daily today, you know how important the mushroom can be.
I was at work, so unfortunately I missed it.
I wished I wasn't on leave and didn't have to have played through that one, but that's a different story altogether. Meanwhile, SuperNinTaylor finds the mirror in Ice Palace.
A+ fun for NinTaylor, because now he's going to be able to explore all of Death Mountain and get the boots in one fell swoop.
And so SuperNinTaylor just made a fantastic play that it's tough to say now which one of these runners is necessarily in the lead, but that is certainly a help to SuperNinTaylor. Now, a fighter's sword cold stare, though, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy.
Yeah, as bad as this can be, cold stare in swordless. Yeah.
But that laser stick is putting in work. Nicely done by SuperNinTaylor.
Nicely done indeed. Meanwhile, Kyong is taking the Blacksmith on a bit of a world tour.
Let's see where SuperNinTaylor goes now that they have completed. It is Death Mountain time. So NinTaylor is going to be able to access everything on Death Mountain. It's going to be able to complete the Tower of Hera, check Paradox Cave, and then check Dark World Death Mountain as well. It's going to be a lot of locations open for him right now.
Absolutely, and he's only one item away from being able to explore Turtle Rock, and 2 items away from being able to fight Trinexx.
So Kyong turning in the shroom. And SuperNinTaylor remembering that that hint that said that the boots were in Spike Cave, so. And just rupees for the mushroom, so.
But a lot of rupees. And with the boots, NinTaylor has activated the spin dash, a spin on a ladder with a 1-frame window to make a dash input that allows Link to store that dash and run around the screen. Now, unfortunately, he can't swing his sword until he dashes again.
That's correct, but in certain places like there on Death Mountain, it is very, very useful. So NinTaylor going to hit up the Tower of Hera while Kyong92 is hitting up Eastern Palace and that tantalizing green pendant. We've been talking about that green pendant since the beginning of the game. We'll see.
NinTaylor and Hera, we've got simultaneous dungeons from two different dungeons at the same time.
Just the map in the first chest there in Tower of Hera, so we still have two items here in this dungeon that SuperNinTaylor can find. SuperNinTaylor getting a hint that he already knew. The mirror is an ice palace. Yes, he knows.
Well, game, you're a day late and $1 short on that one.
Just 10 arrows in the big chest, not what they were looking for. I did not see what Kyong just found in the big chest of Eastern Palace.
I missed it too.
So NinTaylor taking down the Troll Dorm.
Now, he does have a small key, so I'm led to believe, unless I missed something, I'm led to believe that there is an item in the basement.
I believe that is correct. I only saw the 10 arrows. It may come down to whether or not this green pendant is worthwhile. But if this is a pedestal steed, Kyong is in fantastic position right now.
If it's not, he's in trouble, so it's very much a hit or miss situation.
Yep. That early Ice Palace by SuperNinTaylor could be a huge advantage, or it could have put him out of logic to the point that Kyong may be able to catch up. That's the risk you run when you sequence break, is that it could put you off of Wild Goose Chase, where you are so far off the logic that someone who stays on the logic may have an advantage. And just a heart container in the dungeon of Hera.
But on the plus side, that mirror did allow him to get out of there much quicker than otherwise.
Absolutely. And just some bombs for that tantalizing green pendant, so... Oh, NinTaylor getting blocked by the dead rocks.
Dead rocks are probably the most annoying enemy in the game for a reason. And the Quake Medallion is the only way he has of dealing with them right now.
Alright, so Kyong is going to dip into Ice Palace as well. And Taylor going to go ahead and open up Turtle Rock. Not a bad choice here. Obviously, cannot go anywhere in Turtle Rock without the best item in the game, the Cane of Samaria.
But there is a hint you can pick up, and that could
That
be
is true.
big.
But not much of a hint, because the hint was only that the hammer is with the chickens, and, well, we've known that for quite some time now. Nice bomb strats there by Kyong with the Pen Gators.
Another good way of taking them out.
Super Bunny gave, we get a heart container and 50 rupees.
Nothing overly important, but the health always helps.
Absolutely. Now, SuperNinTaylor, yep, looks like he is going to check the first chest here in Hookshot Cave. It is in logic that the Hookshot can be in this chest. But not today. It's 300 rupees. Is NinTaylor going to hover? Oh my gosh! Hover! Hype! Got it!
Nicely done!
Impressive.
That is something that I cannot do, because that is basically a rhythm of 1 frame input. Well,
All right, this is going to be a long hover right here. Oh my gosh. Oh man! So impressive by SuperNinTaylor. Unfortunately, it does not pan out. There was nothing else there in Hookshot Cave.
even so, that was impressive.
Yeah, that was an incredibly long hover. And you know, as you mentioned, you have about a 1 frame window to get those presses, those A button presses in. I mean, that's a machine, not a human being. That's all I'm saying.
That's what I typically say about it. Well, I've never been able to hover myself, so yeah. For those that can, more power to you. Me, it's not in my repertoire.
I did not see what item was at Spiral Cave, but
Yeah, I missed it too, but it looks like NinTaylor's in Paradox Cave now.
Taylor getting trolled by the mini troll dorms a bit there. There's the single arrow. Piece of heart. It's looking like this Death Mountain trip is coming up short, and it is.
I'm starting to question if our runners are going to have to dive into Swamp Palace and possibly more than once. Also, Desert Palace is open for NinTaylor with the mire.
Yes. And it's like he heard you speaking. Now, NinTaylor cannot complete Mire, but can complete Desert, so...
Yeah, anytime you have to multi-dip a dungeon in the Dark World, especially Swamp or Mire or Turtle Rock, yeah, I'm with Chad on that.
So looking at this, looking at the dungeon layout, etc., I mean, it's entirely possible that ever-elusive Cane of Samaria is on the pedestal still, but we do have the silver arrows in Checkerboard Cave, so very nice, particularly when it comes to the eyeball boss Vitreous.
Absolutely, the silvers will make Vitreous a very brief fight.
Just $20 on Desert Ledge. SuperNinTaylor says, nah. Let us see what is available here in Desert Palace. Desert Palace was in fact bootlocked. The big key there on the porch. And what is the hint going to say? Don't know. Missed it.
Some cast requires the hammer, something we'd probably already seen if I had to venture a guess, but again, nothing important, so move right along. And here comes Kyong into the mire area. While NinTaylor is cleaning up the east side of desert. Looks like Kyong is going to be right behind him, too. And it's just 20 rupees at the desert big chest, so move right along. And NinTaylor's going to be moving in on lane molds. Very risky spin speed there by NinTaylor, because if you mess up and you fall off that ledge, you're going to have to do the whole sequence to get back in, and that's a time loss.
So NinTaylor taking out the Landmalas with the silver arrows, misses one there. Let's see if NinTaylor almost certainly going to head out here and check Agahnim's cave. See if that sneaky location is important.
Certainly would be trolly for something to be here.
Absolutely. Survey says, and that's gotta be Kane! That's gotta be Kane!
And we found our target. Misery Mire is a go for completion, and Turtle Rock is definitely open for business.
There we have it. So we're really looking now for the Ice Rod and the Hookshot.
Well, we also need the Master Sword too, but for all
fair point,
we have 3 swords in Ganon's tower. I mean, it's been a while since we've had a logic do that on a well, this logic doesn't do that on a regular basis, thankfully, as far as I know. But if that were the case, that would be pretty dirty.
So with the cane at Agahnim's cave, I'm almost willing to bet that the Hookshot will be here in Misery Mire. Because the mirror was in Ice Palace. So this should be interesting.
And with both of our runners now in possession of the silvers, if we only find one more sword, we won't have to do the nightmare that is Silverless Master Sword. That nightmare is what kept me from getting more than 1 win.
Yeah, Master Sword Silverless is just annoying. I've done it, but that doesn't mean I want to do it.
Yep.
So we know that the big key here for Misery Mire is on the left side. There's one more item left here.
Question is, what is it? And where is it out of the remaining locations that we know it could be?
So NinTaylor definitely going to go up. Yeah, a lot of times runners try to save the vanilla big key location for last, but when you've already gotten the hint that tells you where it is, it behooves you to do it right now.
Yep, it makes a lot more sense, and it's faster.
And NinTaylor waiting out the cutscene there. Longest cutscene in the game.
It is the longest cutscene, but he's not waiting alone. He's got 3 whiz robes on screen keeping him company.
That's true. And there's the big key. SuperNinTaylor's going to head down to take care of the Viddy.
Still gonna check those other locations to see where that other item is. Wasn't there, so might as well check the big chest while we're at it.
All right, big chest time.
Well, that'll
no
speed
idea what
things
was
up a
there.
bit. That was 10 arrows, so now the risk of running out on this fight just dropped to 0.
Fair point.
At this point, my instincts are saying Turtle Rock's. It's got to be either Swamp or Turtle Rock, and something tells me we could have a double dip of both. We could have an either or double dip, or either of the two going to one over the other could be the right order here. Or is this sea being a troll and Mothula hiding something? Who knows? NinTaylor heading for Vitreous using tech that was discovered a few months ago using the Cane of Samaria. Saves time in the NMG.
Old spooky action.
At this point, Hookshot being in any spot could be possible. It could be on Laser Bridge, and Ice Rod could be on Argos. I mean, there are a ton of possibilities here that could be pretty nasty. And yeah. Not just the Ice Rod, we need the Hookshot, because there is no way to hover to Argos. At least that we know of at this time. I mean, it's video games. You could find a crazy glitch. That glitch could be found that could allow for that years from now. But for now, it is what it is.
SuperNinTaylor heading into Thieves Town. We know, at least we know, as the commentary stream and the viewers, and that this is not going to work out. So this is giving Kyong92 a chance to catch up.
Unless this turns out to be a pedestal seat. If it is, then Nintaylor's catching up to Kyong, but the jury's out on that one.
And it could be one of the epic trolls in the randomizer. It is possible that the Hookshot is sitting in Swamp Palace, which would be problematic.
Very. At this point, whatever you do is a gamble. I don't think Kyong's fully committed yet because he knows he can go into all of Turtle Rock except for Trinexx. And we have not seen a hint about Mimic Caves, so there could be something there too. And he's going into Hera. I might have missed that hint, but that is an excellent point by chat. Because you needed the Hookshot to get the mirror in logic from Ice Palace, so... Huh. That would mean it would have to be Turtle Rock then, right?
Possibly. I mean, as we say in my stream all the time, the answer is always Laser Bridge.
With how many times I've seen progression on Laser Bridge, that would not surprise me.
Yeah, Laser Bridge seems to be the location for most of the really trolly items.
I've seen Seeds troll, speaking of, they'll dangle a carrot and early in Turtle Rock, thinking some runners will just leave and there will be progression on Laser Bridge. So, yeah, that's definitely possible. Looks like we're getting a fake powder from Nintaylor. Will this pan out?
I certainly can't blame NinTaylor for attempting the fake powder here. What we have on Magic Bat, it is the Ice Rod! Wow!
Now that is a very worthwhile sequence break. I wonder if that's going to send him straight to Turtle Rock, because that means he's going to finish it. That means powder is somewhere along the logic line, and this puts Kyong at a disadvantage. He turned in the mushroom. He cannot take powder.
So it depends on where that little powder is, and if it's in a place like, say, Skull Woods, could be problematic. Or even worse, if it's in Turtle Rock.
I just had a thought. What if that is the pedestal item? If that's the case, then that is a massive break in Nintaylor's favor, if that were the case.
Oh man, that would be a heck of a thing to see. Just all the sequence breaks that have been done here, the fake powder. I'm relatively certain Ice Palace was a sequence break, but I could be wrong. Unless it was trying to make you double dip Ice Palace.
Good question as to what this seed was trying to make you do.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Yeah, we don't know, but right now it looks like Nintaylor has made the seed, somehow seemingly made the seed bend to his will.
Yeah.
Looks like Kyong's heading for Turtle Rock, but it's looking like if Powder's here, then we know NinTaylor skipped a double dip.
Right. I think either way this works out for SuperNinTaylor. And remember, Kyong is not going to be able to complete Turtle Rock because Kyong does not have that ice rod. So this is certainly going to be almost certainly going to be a wasted double dip. Again, if the powder is here, it's not. It's, intended by the logic, but still. Wow, just wow. That's all I can really say.
Safe to say it is quite the turn of events, and that is the beauty of Randomizer.
Absolutely. Yeah, NinTaylor already got the admittedly completely useless hint that was here at the front of Turtle Rock about where the hammer was. Why would you even put it there? You have to have the hammer just to get in there.
Yeah, in terms of hint placements, that's certainly a strange one that, well, makes me wonder.
See, this will be NinTaylor's 6th crystal once he completes this dungeon, and then it'll just be Swamp Palace left, but we still have yet to find that elusive Hookshot.
Or another sword, and no Hookshot means you're going about this, well, I think back to the first time I played A Link to the Past as a kid. This was basically how I cleared this particular room.
Oh, me as well. I never even thought, oh no, NinTaylor hits up on his controller. Is he going to have enough time to make it? He does. Whew.
That was too close.
Yeah. NinTaylor's realizing, oh, I forgot to cane dash there.
Good place to do that, too. Hey, there's the big...
I'm not certain if mirroring out is faster than doing another cane dash, but I'm not going to second guess SNT.
Yeah, the way I look at it, that could be preference of the runner, it could also be magic situation. There are a number of factors at play there.
True.
That could have come down to preference.
Well, if it's magic situation, there's a full magic pot underneath one of the skulls right next to there, so... Oh, got chomped there by one of the chain chomps. Only enemy in the game that does more damage with a hit than the chain chomps is Ganon.
Yeah, safe to say that chain chomps. Well, they hurt so bad, you wish they were still in SMB3.
Alright, so Kyong is going to check Hookshot Cave here. I do not know if Kyong can hover, but at least is going to check that one item that is checkable without the hookshot. And Kyong is going to make the Turtle Rock play, which gonna be a time sink here. Meanwhile, NinTaylor is going to just take it and complete the dungeon.
Very good pattern for the second pokey room.
Yeah, nice. A twofer there. Let's see what is in Mimic Cave. I agree with chat here. Still have this weird feeling Skullwoods has something to fix logic. I agree. NinTaylor having to use the hammer on the mimics because of the complete and utter lack of a sword upgrade so far.
Yeah, that's a well-timed piece of art.
And we are about to see here very shortly whether or not the answer is indeed Laser Bridge. And if there is a powder on that bridge, oh my.
There's a powder and a hook shot on there. Double armor.
Indeed. Nice setup there for SuperNinTaylor, getting past the roller very quickly.
So there won't be a key on Laser Bridge. That's what you want to see in Go mode, but we're not quite there yet.
It always happens that way. You have a key going into... You could skip Laser Bridge, but of course you can't because you're not yet in Go mode. Seems like that always happens. All right, Laser Bridge chest number 1 is a big 20. There's the powder. Oh my gosh.
The answer was Laser Bridge after all.
Yeah, and a Master Sword, so there is the sword upgrade we've all been looking for. There's one more item here on the bridge. If it's the Hookshot... It is not, so possibly Trinexx, which would make a having to double dip Turtle Rock even more painful. Let us see. And the swag cane dash there by SNT.
If you know the swag strats, go for him. The Master Sword's definitely going to make this fight a little bit more manageable. Even though hammer strats certainly would help too. What shall we see?
SNT with the quick kill strats here for Trinexx. Would be a little bit better if he actually had Bacon Sword, but not looking like it's going to matter here. He can just spam the Fire Rod with as much magic as he has, but...
Nicely done for phase 1.
Yep, got the double hit there, and I wasn't able to get the quick kill, but still Trinexx, not any trouble whatsoever for SuperNinTaylor. And it is the Hookshot on Trinexx!
Turtle Rock was the answer all along, and the sequence break has put SuperNinTaylor into Go mode.
Wow. And the fake powder was crucial in this race. Absolutely crucial. NinTaylor's fake powder.
Kyong's exiting. The only problem with safety door, though, is he'd have to mirror again just to get to the top of Death Mountain. So he would unfortunately still have to go back through the entire dungeon, even if he were to go right to Magic Bat. And that looks like what he's doing, and that's going to be his best chance.
Meanwhile, SuperNinTaylor's just going to go mode the Ice Palace here. Wow.
It's going to be Swamp that gets go moded, but a go mode Swamp's a good 5 minutes faster.
There is Kyong's Ice Rod. So the smart stuff here, though, by by Kyong. As you mentioned, he's going to be able to hop off right into the safety exit, but
Not so fast. He won't be able to do that because, unfortunately, he has to mirror up at Spectacle Rocks, so he
oh,
still has
that's
to
right.
run
Yeah.
through.
So it looks like Kyong is going to check Skull Woods and possibly Ped.
Well, this would be his best chance at pulling off a comeback, but unfortunately, we all know that the pet dream is not happening today.
Yeah, definitely looking for Hookshot. Doesn't want to run the risk that it's on Trinexx. I can understand that choice because, what are the odds it's in that one location as opposed to the couple more that you have left? And Taylor there for a second, I think, had forgotten that he was go mode clearing swamp, but went back to the go mode there.
Even in go mode, waterfall chest is fairly out of the way. Would be worth checking, in my opinion, especially since you're still looking for swords.
Yeah. He'd really like to have Bacon Sword at this point, but you at least have what you need to kill Ganon. NinTaylor, I think, is looking for another sword, hence these checks here. There's the Book of Mudora and the big key. Yeah, I didn't think NinTaylor would run back to the big chest.
Yeah, at this point, absolutely not. I mean, he could check Ether Tablet on his way up, but that would be it.
That'd be slower than going Hookshot across Death Mountain.
Yeah, that'd be the only problem. Even if you were to Hookshot and mirror outside of Ganon's tower, you're still wasting a bit of time.
Now, it'd be interesting to see if he runs one screen over after completing Swamp Palace and checking Bombo's tablet. Using spin strats on the puffs on Argos rather than trying menu boss strats, having to switch over to the hammer each time. I respect
that's
that.
what. Good.
And one silver arrow.
Yeah, it's fun to see Argus go splat like that. Ooh, a Fairy peanut bottle and key on side. Got a safety.
Well, that is crystal number 7 for SuperNinTaylor, and so what that means is there are 22 chests in Ganon's tower in which the big key could possibly be. Get your guesses into the chat right now. The countdown will stop once SuperNinTaylor enters Ganon's tower. And obviously you could be a part of our leaderboards if you are a subscriber or donator to Speed Gaming, and you are the correct guesser. So SuperNinTaylor stopping off, picking up some potions. Interesting choice here.
But not a bad one. Can't hurt to have safeties.
No, not at all.
As Kyong finds the magic cave, it was on Malthea.
I don't know if Kyong checked Bumper Cave yet. If he has not, that could possibly lead him to another time waste here.
But it looks like we're going to get a blind pedestal pull. The best thing it could be at this point. He would be hoping for something required. We're hoping for a sword. What is it going to be?
Absolutely. Oh, insult to injury is what it's going to be.
Yep.
Hate to see it turn out this way for Kyong92. I mean, if you've been watching, you've seen incredible execution, but sometimes it just doesn't turn out that way.
Yeah, that's Randall for you. Well, that kit does help because now we know where one of the two remaining swords is, and Kyong's going,
Right.
but I cannot blame him one bit.
No, neither can I.
Looks like we're going left in Ganon's towers. Your first two chests were 3 bombs and a green potion.
And yeah, definitely going to take that key. All right, so where is the big key? We got 2 so far.
3 counting the torch.
Yep, and we've got 4 through 7 coming up right now. Four, 5, 6, and 7. All right, so anyone guessed 1 through 7, including lucky number 7? Yeah, we were wrong.
Yep, I missed on this one too, as I put it down number 6.
I guess number 13, but I think somebody else beat me to it, so.
Yeah, I went Price is Right style on that. To do it to try and win without going over, but not this time.
Kyong got to be on tilt right now, checking a bunch of different locations.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it happens to all of us, where we just can't seem to find that one thing we're looking for, so we just wind up going crazy looking for locations, and yeah, you just hate to see
and
that.
There's a sword for SuperNinTaylor, so he does get his tempered sword. Wow.
We will definitely take it because tempered sword for Ganon is the preferred way to go.
There's 10, 11. There we are. The big key was in chest number 11, but SuperNinTaylor's still going to check these chests.
And we had a bug net at Catfish. So if you're playing a sword this seed and you got that there, that would have been a good pickup. But now, for SuperNinTaylor, it's all about execution.
And with those silver arrows plus the tempered sword, you gotta believe SuperNinTaylor's got this well in hand. I say as the red Goriah's there, give him a little bit of trouble.
The first 2 rooms with the red mimics or gorillas, that can be a headache, and those beamos aren't going to do you any favors whatsoever, and the mirror shield does not block their beams. The beamos,
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah, the greatest thing Nintendo ever did was making it so that you could kill beamos with bombs in Ocarina of Time.
And arrows in some future games.
Excuse me. But SuperNinTaylor making his way through the gauntlet here pretty well. That we're gonna give him a little bit of trouble. But that tempered sword making short work of all of the enemies here. See if he can get a 0 cycle land mode 2 here. There it is. Perfect. Almost perfect
Nicely
Landmo
done.
2 fight.
Now, the Landmo 2 room in Randomizer, that turret can really cause some things to go a little funny.
Nicely done, Quad Wizro Broom. NinTaylor is well on the way to ending this. Looks like it'll be a sub 140 as well, which is very respectable given this seed.
Absolutely. While some of us have yet to crack sub 130, a seed like this, you crack 140, you played really well.
Yeah, it's some really great decisions by SuperNinTaylor. Enabled this, the decision to do the early Ice Palace play, and probably most significantly, the fake powder was key to SuperNinTaylor being this far ahead.
Yeah, I'd say the fake powder was number one.
And Kyong gonna be full clearing Swamp Palace here. Perhaps we'll find the red mail. We'll see.
Not the only thing that could be left. Instead, it's the compass.
So now it's about time to see how good SuperNinTaylor's trigonometry skills are. It is the Aga 2 fight right now.
He's already got one double triple this tournament.
Oh, you jinxed him. Commentator's curse there. 0 first round, I think.
Definitely a rough pattern here.
This should do it. Oh, no. Okay, you got it. Whew. And it is pork barbecue time for SuperNinTaylor as Kyong searches, we know, in vain for the hookshot here in Swamp Palace. It is Ganon time.
Trinexx was the hook shot.
And NinTaylor, having never found the cape, is using Kane O'Brien strats here to take care of Ganon Phase 2.
Yeah, the thing I find with the Kane Burner here is that, unfortunately, that generates a lot of lag. For the game, that is.
That's an understatement. Ganon, please, all these teleports. Oh, NinTaylor missing there, uncharacteristic. But this should be a double. It is. And that should be game. As long as we don't get a fall on the bridge here, that will be GG's for SuperNinTaylor. And he will tie this series up at 1 game apiece, forcing a Game 3.
And very nicely done by SuperNinTaylor for this race. Just well played all around. We got bacon. Get your GG's in chat for our winner, SuperNinTaylor, as we are moving on to Game 3.
And SuperNinTaylor finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 34 minutes, 54 seconds. GG's. And finishing with that kind of time on this seed is incredibly impressive.
Agreed. This was a well-played seed all around.
And unfortunately, Kyong92 here is going to be double dipping both Turtle Rock and Swamp Palace. That fake powder, huge difference in the seed here.
It certainly was, no doubt about it. That was definitely a game changer.
Absolutely. And while we await and see if SuperNinTaylor decides to show up, I would like to remind everybody, if you enjoyed what you're seeing here today, and I'm sure you did, because these runners were putting in amazing work for your entertainment, why don't you consider giving both of them a follow here on Twitch? And for more of your 2018 fall Link to the Past randomizer tournament action, make sure you stay tuned to the Speed Gaming family of networks, Speed Gaming 1 through 6, as well as ALTTP randomizer channels. Tournament matches being restreamed across all of those channels here as we get into the final rounds of the tournament. But there will be an exciting Game 3 for this series coming up soon. Stay tuned to the schedule. Just command schedule in the chat here to pull up the schedule, or just page down from the player window and you will see the schedule for Speed Gaming.
Kyong heading in to fight Trinexx. He already has Tempered Sword here, so he'll be able to go through this fight faster without having to menu back and forth.
Absolutely. That was one thing that NinTaylor did not have, was the Bacon Sword. You see how much quicker that makes the fight.
Nicely done on phase 2. And Kyong has found himself in go mode, getting the hookshot. Kyong heading right to Swamp Palace to wrap up business. And having Tempered Sword will definitely make his remaining boss battles a lot easier.
And we are joined now by SuperNinTaylor. GG's SNT. What a race. How about that fake powder?
Hello, thank you. And yeah, that fake powder was pretty game-changing. Like, I watched the end of the stream because obviously there's a 20-minute delay, so I was able to watch the ending of it and saw kind of where the big gap was.
Yeah, your opponent, Kyong92, turned in the mushroom early, and that ended up being their downfall. Obviously, the required double dip by logic, of course, into Turtle Rock that you completely avoided. And that hover, oh my god, that hookshot cave hover.
That was
wow.
so good.
It was pretty sweet, but for being honest, that actually, like, all I did was waste time with Hookshot being the go mode item, but still, I guess it was pretty cool.
It was impressive as heck to witness. It didn't matter. The swag points were sufficient there.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping to find like some kind of progression in there, and then it could help me narrow down like where Hookshot was, just based on the logic. But it was just all junk in there.
Yeah. So how did you feel about that early on? Early on, Kyong actually, if you watch the restream, Kyong was out to an early lead, but you were still pretty close. But the early dip into ice, what was going through your mind there?
Well, I knew ice was a dungeon I could full clear, a crystal dungeon I could full clear. And I also know there's 3 hints in there, so I kind of wanted to get those hints and get a crystal out of the way, so that kind of played into my mind. I hate Ice Palace without boots, but still felt like a decent play to me. I did a few overrolled checks first, just in hopes of a better sword or boots or something. But yeah, I think Ice Palace actually gave me a boots hint for Spike Cave.
Yeah.
Yep, it did.
And then there was another hint, I don't know if it was also an Ice Palace, but one about someone friendly having a unique item. And that was the big reason why I found Ice Rod before I went to Turtle Rock. My whole plan, because of that one hint, I couldn't remember someone friendly giving me a unique item, so my whole plan was to route together all the friendlies. So I was going to do the Blacksmith, and I was going to do the purple chest, and then I was going to go to Catfish. And then once I saw the mushroom and Peg Cave, I was like, it could be the magic bat, so I quickly decided to check that, and there it was, the Ice Rod.
Wow, interesting. I thought that hint could have also been referring to the fact that you got the bow from the bunny in Hype Cave. So, interesting.
Wait, who gave me the bow? Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah,
See,
the rabbit creature in Hype Cave, yeah.
I couldn't remember that, so I couldn't remember if I got one or not, so my whole plan was just to route all the friendlies together just in case.
No, absolutely, and clearly it worked out for you.
Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty nice. And
So
then I was really hoping for Hookshot and Turtle Rock. I was like, oh man, but then when Trinexx dropped it, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to be in the lead right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I was pretty nervous towards the end though. Like I was shaking and my heart was beating. That's why I was kind of messing up here and there.
It didn't look like you were messing up here on stream. 3:27 menu time too, not bad.
Not too shabby.
But Kyong92 is making his way up to Ganon's Tower here on stream, obviously with the delay. But yeah, what a race! It's one of those things that honestly, that's what makes watching a randomizer race so exciting, is that when runners make decisions like your decision to fake powder and not turn in the mushroom, and that can make such a difference in the race times, even if the runners execution-wise are relatively evenly matched.
Yeah, it's kind of a situational thing. It's kind of more like a feeling. Like I rarely ever fake powder, but this race it just felt right. I was like, I feel like I need to fake powder. It's that rando instinct.
That's right.
And Rando Instinct paid off big time as your win forced a Game 3. Now, out of curiosity, when will we be seeing Game 3?
Let me think. I think there's a good chance of it being on Friday, but I'll have to talk with Kyong and see what he's thinking. But I'm pretty sure we talked about Friday.
And have the parameters already been decided, or is that?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't even sure if it was gonna go that far. Like coming into this, he was the highest seed in the whole the whole tournament. I was the lowest seed in this stage of the tournament. So this is like bracket or seed 1 versus seed 32. So it's pretty hyped that I at least brought it to a Game 3.
Certainly is, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out what I want to veto.
That's certainly a good point, because now with Expert as an option, oh boy.
Ooh.
To answer Deeb in chat, this was my settings.
That certainly worked out for you.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of wanted something... Like, I've been playing a lot of NMG lately, so I was trying to... I don't know, do something more... what I'm used to. Like, I'm not used to doing inverted and Randomizer and all that stuff. I'm more into, like, the vanilla kind of stuff, so that was why I just chose standard Ganon goal. Actually, I guess NMG is more all dungeons, but I was also just doing Ganon goal just to give me more room for making a few gambles, just because I know how tough of an opponent Kyong is, so I was hoping I could make a few gambles here and there to gain some time on him. But also, I mean, gambles can ruin the whole race for you, but sometimes it has to be done.
Oh, that's just something that I always mention on commentary. Anytime you sequence break while you're running one of these seeds, you run the risk of either, giving yourself a significant advantage by sequence breaking, or, putting yourself on the wrong path out of logic, and then it ends up biting you because it sends you in a wrong path.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. Like, if you pay attention to the sequence breaks, like what you're breaking, then it can actually help narrow down where things are, because then you can be like, this can't be here because I don't have this item, so this item must be somewhere in this area. But if you're not really paying attention to that, you can easily get lost. And it's really easy to get lost when you're focusing on so many different things. There's quite a few things to pay attention to when you're racing this. But what am I going to veto in Game 3? I'm still thinking about it, but there's a good chance I'll probably veto Randomizer. I think Kyong is a lot more used to that kind of stuff than I am.
Yeah, I can't blame you. Randomizer can be brutal. Like, I had one race against Gauntlet groups where there was a BMOS on Turtle Rock right before the Laser Bridge, and that caused some problems, to say the least. So
Ow.
Or like the big moving spike block in the middle of that the torch room in GT, the first torch room upstairs. I've seen that a few times.
Yeah, there's certainly some meme stuff from the current build of Randomizer. And knowing that we could be seeing an Randomizer update sometime in the coming year, I'm curious as to what's going to be updated for sure.
Kyong having a little bit of problems in the Gauntlet here on the restream. Ouch.
They're bullying him hard.
Indeed. That's all right. You should have the rest of this pretty much in the bag.
Yeah. Kind of sucks when you get stuck on the ice and you can't really get your momentum back, and they just keep throwing stuff at you.
Yeah, perfect land mode 2 there for Kyong.
Yeah, in that room I call personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense.
Yeah, I know swordless. Someone mentioned swordless. I actually have not had a single swordless race this entire tournament. And while I think Kyong probably has more swordless experience than I do, I think I would kind of enjoy swordless. I used to get that one swordless experience in before the end of the tournament, because I haven't had a single one. So even if that is how it goes down, that'd be cool at least to get one swordless race in.
Yeah, I hear you there, because this tournament was actually what introduced me to swordless, because one of my opponents selected it. So I took some time and practiced various swordless strats, and I wound up doing okay. So that is something definitely worth learning.
Actually, I should mention, I'm not even actually a top 32 seed technically. Like, the only reason I made it in was because Gem decided to drop. Otherwise, I wasn't even going to make the top 32. So I dedicate this victory to Gem.
And yet here you are with a chance to knock out the top seed in your bracket. So I wouldn't sell yourself too short here, my friend.
No, I mean, I'm confident in myself as a player. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes Rando's tough. Like, I make a lot of wrong plays. I tend to have really bad luck in Rando.
Same here.
Like, I don't want to blame it all on luck. Like, people beat me fair and square, but there's a lot of things that go wrong with me when I play. I always have a habit of, like, last location and things. Yeah, that's why I've started to get into NMG.
And that's why I don't play too much inverted, because I had a race with a couple of last locations that drove me crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you could have my luck where I, sub 125 a seed, but lose because my opponent set a PB. And that happened to me twice in the last tournament I entered.
Plus, there's also like skill in routing, like knowing how to route well, and I'm sure people are just probably better at the routing than I am these days. So I don't play a ton of rando. I just do these tournaments, and that's about it.
Well, for
All
me,
right,
the next thing I gotta work on is movement, but that's just me.
Yeah, movement's pretty important.
All right, so Kyong92 about to enter the Ganon fight. He does have Butter Sword, which will make this fight relatively trivial.
Yeah, I just hope Game 3 is at least close, regardless of who wins. Just a hype Game 3 would be nice.
Absolutely. A hype Game 3 is a great way to close out a series.
All right, Kyong already in teleport phase 3 of Ganon.
Oh,
That's
Ganon
the-
gave me the... Sorry.
Go ahead.
Ganon gave me like the worst warp ever. That's why I pulled out my Cane of Burna. He did that down-facing warp, which is pretty rare. I think it only happens if you get in the way of his teleport. And I actually have no idea how to deal with him in that scenario. I pulled out the Cane and had the laggiest Ganon I've ever seen in my life.
We were mentioning that you didn't have the cape, so laggy Cane of Brian strats were... let's see, is he going to get a triple here? 1, 2. No, not a triple, but that'll do it right there.
Yeah.
We got bacon.
Bacon. And ladies and gentlemen, Kyong92 finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 52 minutes, 27 seconds. GG's to Kyong92. That was a heck of a seed, and sub-2ing it is impressive in and of itself.
Absolutely. This was the kind of seed that can give runners of any caliber a headache. And sub to it is very well done.
Absolutely. Let me bring Kyong on in here. Kyong92, GG's, what a seed. Just, what's the first thing that comes to your mind, man?
First of all, thank you. That didn't went so well, to say the least. But, it was just a series of unfortunate things and decisions that I ended making, mostly because the size of the first sphere ended up being much larger than I expected, which made me not go to Sazrala or Gina early. That just snowballed everything else.
Yeah, there were a lot. I mean, with the early hammer, early gloves, early moon pearl, I mean, so much was open there at the beginning. The key difference, however, was SuperNinTaylor deciding to fake powder.
Yeah, that was rough for me because I had this myth with me. I didn't have Somar at the time, so I wanted to get the check out of the way, but at the same time I couldn't really afford to save and quit just to try to save the mushroom or something.
No, completely understandable given where you were, and it was the confluence of the way it was routed, and like you said, with so many options being available, the different routes that you took made it absolutely a smart move for SuperNinTaylor to go ahead and do the fake powder, but as you mentioned, not exactly the smartest thing to do given the situation you were in at the time. But wow, what a seed! How about that hookshot on Trinexx?
Yeah, after I got the powder, which led to ice water, well, I'm definitely not going back to Trinexx anytime soon.
Yeah. No, and that was, I could not blame you at all for just doing the blind pedestal check after that.
Yeah, just did everything else basically.
So you and SuperNinTaylor are heading on to a game 3. Just wow. SuperNinTaylor, you obviously do need to talk, but we are absolutely looking forward to that race whenever we see it again.
Yeah, we didn't discuss any vetoes or anything yet, so we'll see what will happen.
I think we discussed as far as we might play on Friday.
Yeah,
possibly.
it's looking like it's gonna be on Friday, probably the same time as this race.
Certainly would be one to look forward to. Any ideas on vetoes yet, or is that going to be saved for another time?
We'll see.
Good answer.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we sign off here, Kyong, do you have any last words before we kill this stream for now?
Just thanks for the commentary stream, tracking, and for sticking out for 20 minutes it took for me to finish.
No worries. And our victor, SuperNinTaylor, any last words before we sign off?
Actually, I just want to quickly plug the main speed gaming channel. There is an extremely hype game 3 going on right now. Like super hype. If you want to catch the ending of it, I would go watch it now, or if you want to watch it from the beginning, that's a pretty good idea too. But yeah.
Well, who's running, SuperNinTaylor? Let the people know.
In the name of DT versus Act the Boker.
Absolutely. There's also another match going on Speed Gaming 5 right now as well. As always, everybody, if you enjoyed what you were seeing today, please give Kyong and SuperNinTaylor a follow here on Twitch, putting in hard work for your entertainment. Thanks so much to our tracker today as well, Iceman F1. That is, I always want to make sure I shout out the trackers because accurate tracking adds so much to the experience, not only for the viewers, but it also keeps us commentary people honest. So shout outs to Iceman for that. And, obviously, follow the Speed Gaming family of channels for more of the Legend of Zelda 2018 Fall Link to the Past Randomizer Tournament. I am Phantom Ryu, signing off now. I will give the absolute last word to my commentary partner, Leslie Pro 04. Good night, everybody.
And thank you, Phantom Ryu. This was an absolute pleasure and a delight. Looking forward to doing it again. Looking forward to tomorrow, though. We have Deltarune at noon on Speed Gaming 1. As well as another Speed Gaming. But 3 o'clock, Speed Gaming 1 will have The Messenger. It is a championship match. You do not want to miss it. And with that, I say thanks for watching, everybody, and have a good night. Take care and watch out for Lionels.